Welcome to this special edition of European Railway, the video magazine for the continental enthusiast. Chambéry is situated in a valley between the Bauge and the Chartreux mountains. The main conurbation area has more than 100,000 inhabitants, extending from the vineyard slopes of the Combe de Savoie almost to the shores of Lac de Bourget, which is the largest natural lake in France. The city is a major railway centre, situated midway on the busy main line linking Lyon and Turin. We called in at the station on a rainy Thursday, 5th of July 2007, at just after 7:30 in the morning. Our visit coincided with the rush hour, where the numerous passenger trains mixed with a number of international freight services making their way to and from Italy. Such an example is seen here, as tri-voltage BB 36000, number 36052, heads south on a trainload of swap bodies, owned by the firm Ambrosio. The line also sees a high number of passenger services on the diesel-operated line from Grenoble. During the peaks, these are operated by BB 67300 locomotives. The city grew up around the famous chateau built by Count Thomas Savoy in 1232, and enjoyed a golden age commanding the trade through the pass over the Alps into Italy during the 14th and 15th centuries. This is 67390 arriving with empty stock for the 7:53 service for Grenoble. Today the city is home to a major locomotive depot, which features a large roundhouse with a distinctive dome roof. The area is famous for one of the last stamping grounds for the dual voltage BB 25100 locos, of which around a dozen remained in traffic at the time of our filming. Here 25190 arrives with the 607 service from Annemasse. This loco dates from 1976. The Class 36,000 electrics now work right into Italy as a result of rostering agreements between the French and the Italian railways. When we visited, freight traffic was steady, with around 4 such services seen each hour. Also seen around here are some of the last of the older generation of French passenger stock. Known as verts, or bangers as they are called by British enthusiasts, these are gradually being phased out, as more modern Corel stock is cascaded from intercity routes being turned over to TGV operation. This is a Type UIC vehicle dating from the 1960s. Not all bangers are painted in the original green livery. Amongst this rake, headed by 25192, are 2 Type USI painted in the grey TER livery. Another loco common to this line are the BB 7200, of which 70 are allocated at Chambéry for work on this route. Here 7362 and 7422 arrive in typical weather conditions, with a southbound freight towards Modane. Number 25186 departs after arriving with a 740 from Albeville. The dual voltage version of the BB 7200 are the BB 22200. Here 22397 arrives with a 543 from St.Moritz. It is difficult to predict just how long the remaining members of Class BB 25150 will survive, but at the time of issue of this programme, at least 10 were still active in the area. Number 36339 arrives at the south end of the station at just after 09:45, with this freight from Italy. Of the freights we saw, just over half were operated by this class of loco. Finally, 67359 heads south with a train for Grenoble. With new diesel locomotives on order and with a steady influx of new DMUs, some serious withdrawals of these locomotives are expected during the coming few years. And what better place to see them at work than here amongst the westernmost mountains of the spectacular Alpine range. Just below the Tatra mountain range which separates Slovakia with Poland is situated the Košice to Pachumin main line, which originally opened in 1872. Today it forms the through electrified main line between the west and east of the country and handles considerable volumes of passenger and freight traffic. In this section we visit the small village of Stankovány on a wet 10th of June 2005. Heading west is this Class 163 electric, which is coming off a single line occupation, which was in place at this time. In the opposite direction is a Class 183, number 183011, a class dating from 1971. The Tatra range is actually part of the extensive Carpathian Mountains, which stretch from here across the southern Ukraine and down into Romania. Behind the loco, the hills that can be seen rise to around 1200 metres above sea level. Coming off the single line working is double loco numbers 131058 and 059. Built between 1980 and 1982, the 100 single cab locos constructed allow for 50 of these semi-permanent coupled formations. Manufactured by Skoda, they are extremely common on this line, working freight services. Freight activity amounted to around 3 per hour during our morning stopover. This is 131075 and 076. The station here serves the small village, which consisted of around 70 houses. Most trains calling during the morning, lunchtime and evening peak periods. This is 163251, heading one of 4 passenger services seen each hour. There are some excellent photographic opportunities on this line. Unfortunately, during the time of our visit, the weather was extremely wet, with low cloud reducing visibility on the higher stretches of the line. If you are ever in the area, it is a line definitely worth a visit. 131061 and 062 head this westbound set of coal empties. Running in pairs, these locomotives are able to provide almost 4,500 kilowatts of power. Finally, number 350-001 rounds the corner heading east. In March 2007, we ventured to the popular Swiss holiday resort of St.Moritz. The town is served by the meter-gauge Rätische network from Chur. We begin at the main station at St.Moritz before moving on to Samedan and then to Preda. Seen entering St.Moritz station is GE44 Series 3 electric number 650. With the 958 express service from Chur on 1st of March 2007. Diesel tractor number 114 was on station pilot duties, here shunting the stock off a service from Tirano. This is the frozen lake St.Moritz, upon which the famous white turf horse racing events are staged every February. The town is situated in the Engadine Valley, some 1,700 metres above sea level. Due to its position in the southern Alp area, local residents, of which there are around 5,600 who live here on a permanent basis, receive over 300 days of sunshine each year. Mind you, the sunshine is tempered by the fiercely cold winds that blow down the valley this time of the year. Viewed from across the main road from the station, numbers 46 and 49 head east on the start of their journey to Tirana. We move some 6 kilometres to the north now and to the junction town of Samedan. Locomotive number 642 departs with a 12:02 from St.Moritz to Cours. The majority of these express services are in the hands of this class of loco. There are also hourly stopping services on the line to School to Rasp. These trains are worked by Class GE44 Series 2 locos in push-pull mode. The Class GE66 locos are mainly used on freight, but they are also used on some passenger workings to and from Cours. Here, number 706 arrives with the 1058 from Cours to Saint.Moritz. Having exchanged wagons, number 705 reverses its train, ready for a run over to Pontresina. During the peak winter ski season, there can be anything up to 30 to 50,000 people on holiday in the area, and so demand for goods can be very high. Finally, rounding the curve from the Pontresina direction, comes number 618, on a local service to School to Rasp. Samedan is a good place to watch the railway operations, as there is nearly always something going on. The Rijksbaan runs through some superb alpine scenery, and the station here at Preda is situated right in the centre of it. Number 650 gets to grips with its train bound for Cour. The station is situated 1,789 metres above sea level, just south of the famous Abula spirals, and lies at the northern entrance of the 5,865 metre long Albula tunnel. In the winter, the station is the setting for the beginning of a spectacular toboggan run down the frozen surface of the main road down to Bergen, a distance of around 8 kilometres. This is hugely popular with tourists and locals alike, and special trains operate between Bergen and Preda just to cater for the riders. For those brave enough to try it, toboggans can be hired at any of the 2 stations. Prices are, of course, on a sliding scale. If you want to work out when freight services run and you have access to the internet, the webcam at Philister station is a good source of timings. Finally, number 649 arrives with a 1258 from Cour. Although 2007 wasn't a good year for snow in the Alps, any such conditions makes the railways that run through this region that bit more different. The line east of Montzen over the famous viaduct and up towards the Gemmencher tunnel to the west of Aachen has been the missing link in an electrified railway between Germany and the port of Antwerpen. Authorization for fill-in electrification for the few remaining kilometres was finally given a few years ago, after much wrangling over who should pay. The electrification is due to be finished towards the end of next year, when the current diesel activity on this busy freight route will come to an end. When we paid a visit to the line in July 2007, the electrification masts were still yet to appear at this point, which was just below Gemmencher tunnel. 2 DB Class 225 diesels made their way back to Aachen after taking a freight to Montzen yard. Here a pair of 225s head another freight for Montzen. Soon, scenes such as this will be a thing of the past. Eichenberg is situated on two main lines, the first linking Hamburg with the south and the other Leipzig to the industrial Ruhr via Kassel. We last visited Eichenberg in our 2004 German Special Edition programme, when we took a look at activity to be found during the daylight hours. This time we call in late on the evening of 27th of September 2006. As with previous occasions, activity was virtually constant. Our first view shows Class 151, number 151145, approaching with a southbound container train before stopping at a red signal. In the opposite direction is 152122. Unit number 425013 arrives with a train from Göttingen. One unit will go forward to Bebra, whilst the other travels on to Leinfeld. Another Disperlock hire loco of class EU64 comes off the Leipzig line with a load of hoppers. The time was almost 11 o'clock. Class 185s now haul a high percentage of freight trains within Germany. Here DB's 185246 slows with the mixed freight for the south. During our 1 hour stay we saw 19 freight and 2 passenger trains. Class 151 still features strongly in DB's current locomotive requirements, having staved off any serious inroads into their numbers for a few years. Only time will tell how long this will remain the case. In the meantime, Eichenberg is as good a spot as any to see them at work. This is 151127. Finally, a privately operated Class 185 hurries south with another container train, completing our sample of the nighttime activity at Eichenberg. Like many Eastern European countries, the railways in the Czech Republic provide a valuable social service for a proportion of the population that still have relatively low incomes. On top of this is the fact that modernisation has still yet to reach many rural lines, with the route east of Olomouc a typical example, where the old order is still very much in evidence. We begin at Hrubé station at just before 6 AM on Wednesday 8th of June 2006, as a Class 843 diesel rail car provides the rear end power for this early morning commuter service for Olomouc. Despite its appearance, the rail car only dates from the mid-1990s. They were also the first diesel units to be supplied with similar Class 943 non-powered driving trailers. much older unit working the line is the Class 851, which date from between 1967 and 1968. Here 851038 arrives with the 5:30 Olomouc to Opava Východ service. Like many town stations, the buildings are large, which indicated their importance in days gone by. This station is no exception, and large parts are now disused, with the outside brickwork beginning to crumble. In this view, the station name looks to have been overwritten in German, possibly dating back to the Second World War. A little further down the line we came across this wayside halt. Further on down the valley towards Olomouc is the town of Chambéry, where a small factory receives wagon load traffic from the main line. On this occasion, Loco 749264 has arrived with one wagon before handing it over to the factory's small Class 701 shunter. We last visited Goschenen in European Railway Issue 21 during a wet day on 14th of June 2005. I've said already in this programme that a little bit of snow transforms the railway scene. This then is no exception. Our first scene is looking towards the Gotthard Tunnel as 11336 leads 620033 out into the daylight on a northbound intermodal. The previous night almost 6 inches of snow had fallen on the upper slopes of the mountains. This was followed by 11235 and 11313 on a train of empty car carriers. At this point the temperature was still just below freezing. At 11:25, Class AE66 number 11505 passed by with this northbound cement working. By now the temperature was just hovering around freezing, as this Class 843 Vossloh diesel leaves the yard with an engineer's working. With temperatures rising again ever so slightly, small avalanches were frequent on the adjacent mountainsides. It is common for northbound trains to have extra locomotives added in order to save light engine movements due to an imbalance of workings. Here 2 RE44 and 2 RE66s head this train north at just after 12:30. Finally, clearing one of the through lines of snow are 11676 and 11246. With 25 trains seen in our 2.5 hour stopover, there is always something going on to keep you on your toes, provided you can feel them, that is. With that, we would like to thank you once again for watching this special edition of European Railway.